Hello everyone and welcome to Sacktown Slam, and this is January I've forgotten what date it was because I have been so busy, especially this month with the SPW. It is Tuesday, January 16th. Now, I'm going to try and save my voice and not yell and be angry at certain things, but I have an SPW show this weekend. I had an SPW show 2 weeks ago at Sack Anime, so I have been getting worked, which is nice, but this is of course my channel, which I am very committed to and want to get back to being a little bit more committed to. I've put out a couple of shows over the last few months, but haven't been doing the daily stuff as much. So, the first thing I wanted to say, and this is more or less the SPW, Donovan Troy, who's my boss, he ended up having to go to the emergency room right after Sack Anime, and I just wanted to send him a shout out and say, thank you for giving me that opportunity to be in front of the largest crowd that SPW has ever had at an SPW show. That is an honor, and I'm very sorry that, you had to go to the emergency room. He had, I guess, a respiratory infection, and I don't want to go too deep into it, but, have some chicken soup, drink some soda, and I hope to see you on Sunday. Now that is out of the way, I want to also talk about another topic that's been very controversial, and this is more WWE, and that's been Paige. So many people want to bury Sasha Banks. And on Twitter, I've been seeing hashtag fire Sasha Banks, hashtag Sasha Banks ended Paige's career, and this and that. I'm going to be honest with all of you right now. Sasha Banks didn't end Paige's career, because Paige wouldn't have been in that match if WWE hadn't cleared her to wrestle. If she had not been cleared to wrestle, then she wouldn't have been in the match. Meaning that if she was cleared to wrestle, obviously something went wrong. Botches happen. But that's not Sasha Banks' fault. That's like saying Enzo not being able to wrestle is Enzo's fault. That's on WWE. WWE just has this mindset that, we can throw shit out there and it'll be okay. No. And you're facing the consequences of that with a failing cruiserweight division, where I'm hearing talks of them canceling 205 Live because of its shitty ratings, and a women's division overall on Raw and SmackDown. I would not say this is the case for NXT, but on Raw and SmackDown, that's failing. Every fucking week. 6-woman tag, 6-woman tag, 6-woman tag. Every fucking week. Like clockwork. And if it's not a 6-woman tag, it has something to do with Absolution or the Riot Squad. First of all, I get your initiative. You want to spread the flowers of all the women that you're going to have in the Rumble. That's great. And am I against this Women's Royal Rumble? Not really. Do I think it's coming in the right year? No, because it's way too obvious who they're going to have win. Because if you don't have Asuka win, then you are basically burying Asuka and everything that is Asuka with her streak. So that being said, I think next year would have been a better year for this Women's Rumble. I think that the Women's Rumble was... a lot of people want to bury this thing. And I'm not going to be that sexist, But I do think it takes away from the mystique of the men's rumble, because that was a big thing. Apparently, they're not even doing the things where, oh, you got to pick which spot you're going to get in the rumble. They don't even care about the men's rumble. I mean, whether it's by design or just out of sheer stupidity, they're taking attention away from a match that is one of the biggest matches of the year. Now, something else that I've heard as far as, sexism in wrestling, that the highest paid woman star, which apparently is Nikki Bella, in WWE makes $40,000. And this is according to the woman that does all the makeup for WWE. She does makeup for Dancing with the Stars. She does makeup for America's Got Talent. So, I mean, apparently she's in the know. So, I guess take this with a grain of salt, but she's all whiny because it should be equal work for equal pay. This is my opinion on that. And it's an opinion, and I'm not going to disrespect anyone if they have a different opinion. It is because opinions aren't right or wrong, they are simply opinions. WWE is an entertainment business. It is also an athletic business. Number one, you are paying the person who at the top what they are worth because they put asses in seats. They put people in seats. They bring attention to your company. Yes, women do that, and I agree. But are you coming to a show to see the women wrestle? I mean, can you look me in the eye right now and say that the women are the reason people come to a pro wrestling show? Unless you are super sexist and just want to see somebody shake their ass, the answer to that question is no. You're looking at the men. And the guy who in WWE makes the most money is obviously it's Brock Lesnar. I think he makes something like $12 million for 4 matches. Way to go, Brock. Way to work it. I don't know how the fuck you got that much money. But I don't know how you work that. But it is a scam. And you need to stop scamming people because, 5 matches for $12 million is ridiculous. Whereas you have someone in the women's division that makes $40 million that has to work 300 days a year. Do I think it's right? No. But do I agree with the sentiment that those that I mean, the women should be getting paid more. I think $40,000 for the highest paid woman in WWE, that seems a bit sketchy. So take that for whatever it was. But you're not going to a wrestling show to see women. You're going to a wrestling show to watch guys kick the shit out of each other. If that's why, if you're going to a wrestling show, that's what you're going to see. I don't know 100% why that anyone would think anything different. I get the equal work for equal pay, and I'm going to say something. If this is a desk job, if you are a steelworker, a grocery bagger, you work in a grocery store at all, for that matter, work at a deli, fast food, then you should be getting equal pay for equal work. That is absolutely the truth. When you are working for entertainment, however, It is your entertainment value that determines your pay. The women, even though they have definitely gotten better, do not make for high entertainment value. Why? There's 3 reasons. Number 1, their booking sucks. Because when you're seeing the same matches over and over and over again for like the last, I want to say 2 months, then no, it's not entertaining. It's just like, it's the bathroom break. Number 2 is because the first woman I've ever seen pushed to the limit was Asuka. Other than that, the last woman I've seen pushed that hard was Paige. And then she got injured, and then she had drug problems, and then she got married to Alberto Del Rio, and then all that shit happened, and she was gone for 2 years. 2 years, folks. And, you know, it amazes me just in general how people look at sports entertainment and want it to be fair. The key word there is sport, first of all. Because, you know, getting back to what I was talking about in the first place with, you know, Sasha Banks and Paige, you know the risks when you get in that ring. You know the risks when you're playing a baseball game. Like, perfect example, when Buster Posey got just trampled over before they instituted what they call the Buster Posey rule, that you can't fucking run over a catcher, you know, he lost out an entire season because of that. Look at all the football players that have had to deal with concussions because of assholes that try to do helmet to helmet on purpose. Look at all the hockey players that if you'd started these hockey fights on the street, you'd be in jail for 10 years. But because you're doing it in hockey, it's 5 minutes in a box. You know, I just... It sucks. But that is the nature of the beast. Shit happens. And you really cannot blame Sasha Banks for what happened. If it had been Bayley, people had been crying for Bayley's blood. If it had been Alexa Bliss, they'd be crying for Alexa Bliss's blood. It wouldn't matter who it had been. Sasha Banks is not an unsafe worker. Sasha Banks is very green in the ring, and she still looks kind of green, but not as green as she did against Charlotte. And I guarantee Charlotte wouldn't have gotten in the ring with her if she didn't know she could have a safe match during, 2016, when they were playing hopscotch with the title. So, I don't see where that hatred is coming from. In terms of the monetary, let's just face it, the entertainment part of this is not and should not, it is what it is. No, I don't think it should be such a wide gap between 12 million and 40,000. But at the same time, who puts people in the seats? Am I going to pay to see the Riot Squad? Or am I going to pay to see John Cena? And I hate John Cena. Am I going to pay to see AJ Styles? Or am I going to pay to see Natalya? I mean, you tell me. If you're a real wrestling fan, you already know the answer to that question. And it's not because I am sexist. It is because I know how this business works. Women have always been, unfortunately, a secondary thought, which is why they get booked in such shitty matches. Now, if they were not booked in such shitty matches, and this is across the board, folks, WWE, TNA, New Japan is even guilty of this. I mean, dear God, ROH just seems like they have the best women's division right now. And their women don't get any exposure. And I guarantee they make half as much, if not less, than WWE's women. Women in wrestling do not make much money. Why? It is very simple. Because either A, they're using it as a platform to get into modeling or whatever, or B, they're just not good in the ring. Therefore, they are not entertaining. And C, most women do not have mic skills. Very, very few do. Charlotte is wonderful on the mic. Natalya has come leaps and bounds in the last 2 years. Asuka's got some work to do, but I think her passion is there. Look at Ember Moon. My God, I can't wait till she gets main rostered. No matter where she goes, she's going to be a hit. So, but even still, who are you going to pay to see? I mean, it shocked the hell out of me when Jinder won the title, because I wouldn't pay to see him as WWE champion if you asked me to sit there for free. But I mean, it just amazes me how stupid people are. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much of my time on that. There is other news. I guess EC3, Rockstar Spud, and Bobby Lashley are done with TNA. They have not decided to not resign, and that ship continues to sink even worse. If I were a betting man, considering all the talent and exodus of talent that have left that company in the last, I want to say, 3 or 4 years, that company is dead by the end of 2018. I mean, unless they find some kind of big hit talent, I do not see them making it into 2019. I don't. I mean, Jeff and Jarrett can't decide whether they want it or they don't want it. They've rebranded it 3 times. They lost the Hardys this past year. They did a lot of damage to that company. And with Bobby Lashley, Rockstar Spud, and EC3 leaving, that's just more damage. And supposedly these are guys that could be in the Rumble. I say could be because nobody knows nothing about who's going to be in the Rumble. The only people that know are in the back. I mean, there's a lot of rumors about Ricochet. But here's my problem. I would love to see Ricochet in the WWE, but do I want him on 205 Live? Fuck no. Fuck 205 Live. The shittiest fucking show in WWE history. That is a show that has no direction, has absolutely zero initiative, handcuffs and pigeonholes its wrestlers because they're only allowed to fight for the Cruiserweight title. If some guy, and you see, here's the problem. If they had unhandcuffed and allowed Neville to fight for other titles, he'd have just said, fine, I'll take the rollover for Enzo and fucking go for the Intercontinental title. But they don't want that. And that's the problem. Because they do not want it, they are probably going to lose fucking Neville. And I guarantee WWE's heard about this All-In show that the Young Bucks are going to have. And they kind of put out a teaser for it. And they're probably shitting their pants right now because of who they put on there. They have Neville on there going up against Marty Scurll. They have Bryan Danielson Daniel Bryan going up against Kota Ibushi, which I would pay to see that match. They have Omega going up against CM Punk, which, if they get CM Punk, it's over. I am officially saying that WWE may be in some deep shit. Because if they get CM Punk and they add him to the Bullet Club, yeah, WWE is in deep shit. And then they had some 6-man match on there that I don't entirely remember the opponents. I remember one side had Jushin Thunder Liger, Rey Mysterio, and somebody else, and the other side had a bunch of... It was a good-looking match on paper, but I don't know how it would work out in the ring. I mean, that's the only match where I was like, kind of But, yeah, all the other matches, you know, WWE done fucked themselves on that one. And if they do not let Daniel Bryan wrestle by WrestleMania, I guarantee it's over. That September, he's going to cash it in. He's going to be like, thanks for the memories. Bye. And I'll go wrestle somewhere else where they will let me wrestle. Because he's been cleared by every fucking doctor on this planet except for WWE's. That, to me, spells out corporate initiative. Because I do not want anybody taking over Roman Reigns' spot. This is my yard. Fuck you, Roman Reigns. You fucking prick-ass bitch. I mean, Roman Reigns. And if Roman Reigns wins the Rumble, I'm going to violently vomit on my television, and then I'm going to punch a hole through it. Because why waste another fucking... I mean, are you really that stupid to waste yet another Royal Rumble on Roman Reigns? In Philadelphia? Philadelphia will riot if Roman Reigns wins. They will start throwing shit in the ring like WCW style. I guarantee it. Because you're right next to Boston. And we all know what Boston can do. I mean, ECW. The other funny part of this really kind of goes, as far as the Royal Rumble also, I'm disappointed in the lack of promotion for the men's Royal Rumble. We have had women's Royal Rumble stuff thrown at us for like 4 weeks now. I again, as I said, I'm for women's Royal Rumble. I'm not sure this would have been the year. I think next year would have been the year. Because just get Asuka's first loss out of the way. Because I have a feeling that's coming after WrestleMania. But in the meantime, now you're sort of making it super obvious that Asuka's going to win. I mean, if Asuka does not win, then it's going to be Ronda Rousey. I mean, no one else in that Royal Rumble stands a fucking chance. I mean, forget the SmackDown side. I mean, because the SmackDown side isn't doing shit. And all these guests that are going to be in there outside of Ronda Rousey, who's signed with WWE, they're not going to do anything. I mean, sure, they're going to be there for a cheap pop, which is going to be mildly entertaining, but they're not going to win. And, the reason my friend Ivy's not here doing this with me is because, likes calling me a Debbie Downer. But here's the thing. He and I, we admitted to each other a while ago, he has what he likes to call ESPN with football. He's very, very good at predicting who's going to win. He even predicted Jaguars over the Steelers, which I wanted to have happen, but I'm like, how the fuck are the Jaguars going to beat the Steelers? And they do. Me, I have ESPN when it comes to wrestling. And he even had to admit that. Because A, I go to real sources like Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez and Ryan Satin, who know what the fuck they are talking about, versus these stupid idiots on things like Smarking Out and Sean's View, who think they know anything, because they don't, you know. And, come on. I mean, let's be real. Number one, CM Punk ain't going to be in the Rumble. You can take that one to the bank. I know Ivan has this thing that everyone has a price, and that is very true. But I'm going to be honest, too. There are scars that heal and scars that do not heal. And firing him the day of his wedding, fuck that. I would not work for that company if they paid me $12, $24, $50 million. You fire me on my fucking wedding day, you can go fuck yourself. So, I mean, obviously there is a lot for CM Punk to deal with. And I don't see him coming back anytime soon. One of the funnier things, though, about this whole CM Punk is that I watched the Raw 25 moments last night after Raw, and the number 2 moment was the pipe bomb, and that kind of shocked me because they're really trying to erase CM Punk, which they can't really do. I mean, I don't see CM Punk going into the Hall of Fame anytime soon either. So, what are you getting at? You know, why did you pick a CM Punk moment? Were these voted on by the fans? Or is this some sort of corporate initiative to try to get CM Punk back? Because they have been very, very down on fan chants this whole year. And, you know, that's been a problem. They've gotten rid of the one fall chant. They've gotten rid of the 10 chant and buried Ty Dillinger, which I have a problem with, but won't get into right now. They buried the Beach Ball Mania. They buried just about everything fun the fans were doing. Hell, they sent a cease and desist to the Bullet Club for doing the same thing to WWE that 20 years prior WWE did to WCW. I mean, the hypocrisies here are enormous. But I am glad that Punk got a spot there. I think the pipe bomb was a good one to put. I do think that him becoming the 4th longest world champion would have maybe been a better one. But that was right on the way of him going out, right around 2014. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad that Punk was in there. He deserved to be in there because he was such an integral part of Raw in the early 2010s. But, I don't know. I mean, you tell me. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my God, CM Punk's going to be back, and CM Punk was on top 95 Raw, and shut up, Sean. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, it's interesting. I mean, number one was the beer truck. I am hearing a lot of things about Jericho being there at Raw 25, and I saw the commercial, and it did say Chris Jericho, because I recorded Raw in my DVR, and there's a fuck ton of names that they announced just yesterday. I'm not going to go through them all, but, you know, a lot of these women that are going to be in there, I'm sure they're going to be saying, and I'm putting myself in for the Women's Royal Rumble, and I'm putting myself in for the Women's Royal Rumble, and I think one name we will not see, and that everyone's kind of hoped for, is Karma, or Awesome Kong, as most of us know her by. I don't see her being in there. There's too many WWE stars that they can reach out to fill those spaces. Would I like to see her in there? Yes. But the only one who's going to be able to do any damage to her is Nia Jax. So, no thanks. I think, getting back to Raw and SmackDown. Raw, for the most part, yesterday and last week's Raw were about Braun. And it feels like Braun and the Women's Royal Rumble have been their initiative over this month. I like that they're pushing Braun, but I'm hesitant to think that he's going to win. And even if he does win, it's not going to be by pinning Brock. Yes, the Elimination Chamber is a Raw pay-per-view this year, and I could see Brock winning it back at Elimination Chamber. But you're basically forcing Braun to win it, to just hand it right back to Brock Lesnar. I don't like that idea. I think if you're going to give it to Braun, it should be to Braun. I do not think that Braun is, incapable of handling that. I think Braun is a great wrestler. I think Braun is a great hype man. I think the damage that ensues when Braun is around is just incredible. Like you saw last week when he pulled down the rafters and stuff on freaking Brock Lesnar and Kane. And this week, yesterday, when he threw people around and grabbed that chocolate cake and was like, that's classic Braun. Braun is good as a destroyer. I was shocked as hell when he picked up Michael Cole and threw the shit out of him into a bunch of security guards. I found that amusing, and, I have to give respect to Michael Cole for having the balls to do that. But my complaint sort of ensues. This Royal Rumble, and any Royal Rumble, it's not about necessarily the title matches. It's about the Rumble. And they're deflecting from the Rumble for either one of two reasons. One, there's a shit ton of indie talent that they're trying to sign to put in the Men's Royal Rumble. Or B, Roman is going to win the Rumble, and most likely they're deflecting attention from the Rumble, like the way they would, give people their numbers over the 2 weeks prior. And I always enjoyed that, like seeing the numbers and seeing people swap numbers. I remember there was one time where Eddie Guerrero, I think, stole somebody's number and swapped it with his. And they were looking at their number, and they're like, "Oh my God, what the hell number is this?" And Eddie Guerrero got number 28 or 29. I mean, that was a great moment, in my opinion, for Eddie Guerrero. I miss him in that sense, because he was a modern day Ric Flair. He knew how to cheat, lie, cheat, and steal. And that's what made him so entertaining. But I feel like overall they've really deflected attention from people getting their numbers and getting their spots. I mean, all that's really been said is, I'm going to be in the Rumble, or I'm going to be in the Rumble, or I'm going to be in the Rumble. And that's great, but I kind of liked it. Simple is always best, especially for something like the Rumble. You want to go simple. Save the surprises for the night of, because that's always been another successful thing about the Rumble. And just make it about the Rumble. I feel like with the Women's Royal Rumble, a lot of the surprises are going to be ruined more than likely next week with all the women that are going to be there. I would have kind of liked if they had saved all these, comebacks for the night of. I think that would have made it a lot more exciting to watch, and a lot more, more eyes would be on it. If a bunch of people next Monday for Raw the 25th anniversary of Raw come out and say, I'm going to fill this gap, and this gap, it's not necessarily going to be as nostalgic or exciting as it could have been. So I'm hoping that that's not the case. I'm hoping that they come out there and they just have something nice to say. They maybe put up on the Titantron like their defining moment per se. And then they leave it at that, and then all of a sudden it's, oh my God, said person shows up in the Women's Rumble. If you really want to make the big impact, that's how you do it. I mean, Raw 25 being right before the Rumble is actually a good thing, because, it's going to bring hype, but you don't want to overhype or bring no hype. So I would say that you would want to make it in that way, for that fashion for the women, and start busting out, somebody spinning the little bingo balls around and giving people their numbers. I'm glad that Braun is getting attention. Of all the male stars in WWE right now, I think he is one of the biggest stars that gets the least amount of attention. This whole storyline that started at TLC was, I didn't care for the 5-on-3 thing with the Shield. It was awful. But, and if I had my say, Kane would not be in this match, because what the hell has he done to deserve a Universal title shot other than being with the company 20 years, which I can see them giving him his last swan song with this, but why bury him with Brock Lesnar? It just doesn't make sense to me, because if you're going to bury somebody for their last big match, doesn't seem like much of a way to go out. So, anyway, this has been Gary Maloney for Sacktown Slam. I will probably be back tomorrow with another video, and I am signing off.